What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Musi Game here, and today I'm back with another episode of a account coaching series featuring Myzz, who's a new subscriber to the channel, and he has a very interesting account. And I would like to thank Myzz for sending his account for review, as I think his account has some very interesting stuff. Without further ado, let's just jump right into it. His account is actually a VIP 15 account, which is I think where you actually start to get the 3 gold heads, right? I believe. No, 14 is when you start to get 3. Okay, so but very interesting. He does get a lot of buff by going up to VIP 15. I'm assuming that he's actually pushing for VIP 17 eventually. But yeah, he currently is sitting in VIP 15. And he sent me a block of text to basically explain what his situation is. So he's an infantry main, and he actually wasn't able to play the game a lot until actually very recently, and he actually found some time to actually be able to play this game, which is all fairness. A lot of people find those 4X games is what people call it, but like city building war games, very draining in terms of time consumption and stuff. And what he actually sent me was that he actually recently won a Zenith Power event with 29 million power ups. So if you remember from the very first slide that I actually showed you, he had 79 million power. That means that he had recently gained 29 million of them. So he was sitting at 50 million power. That means he was basically borderline T4, T5, which is all fine. But very interesting account that actually has stayed at a lower power level, but then again pushed up very high with the Zenith power event. And his short-term goal is that he wants to improve on his KP to match his power and the account stage as best as possible, which is all good. And long term, he wants to become a garrison lead for his group of friends. So I think what he means is that he wants to play like amongst his groups of friends. You know those like silver KVKs, the 15 by 50 or 15 by 15 Archipel Cyrus League stuff. Like I've been actually live streaming most of them. I think he wants to be a garrison leader for those, which is a very good plan. I think that's where all garrison leads and rally leads should actually start from. So a very good plan, step by step. I think that is an awesome plan. It is a way to enjoy the game by far, and I really do enjoy. I really did start to enjoy the Ark of Osiris League gameplays ever since I actually started doing 15 versus 15 with my group of friends. So very good plan. He only has infantry commanders max and was not planning to put Goldhead in other types at the moment, which is uh, a good plan. I'll explain why that's the case in a bit when I look at his account. And then he's actually considering Philip, which is good because Philip is a very good commander that can be very versatile, and I think he can be applied like anywhere. To be honest, like whether or not you're maining smite damage commanders or skill damage commander, you can always use Philip somewhere, right? He only uses 2 marches at the moment for open field, and he wants to do 3, which is good because he is an infantry main, and I think the only main troop type that you can actually bring out 3 meta marches at this point is actually infantry at this point. And I'll probably provide my best suggestions for that. And he recently won a Zenith Power skin at first place, which is awesome. But he's a small spender. He spends about $100 a month. I'm assuming that during the time that he couldn't actually find his time to actually play the game, he was saving up a lot of resources, a lot of speed ups, and he basically pushed for Zenith Power as he found the time and he wanted to actually be a little bit more serious about the game. And he got and won the Zenith Power skin, which is all really good. because the Zenith Power 20% attack Zenith Power skin actually just got like a semi buff because of the fact that a lot of the KVK tech changes will actually buff defense and health and provide less attack from those crystal technology, which means that attack has become more relevant than ever since the game has been released and ever since we seen Season of Conquest crystal tech stuff actually coming to the game. Now, objectives, he was unable to actively play the game, so can play more now, which was what I was explaining earlier. His short-term goal is to improve the KP to match his power and his account age. His account is older. His account is way older than mine, to be really fair. I think because he has he's 47 million, right? I'm at like 130 million. So he does want to mash the kill point to be matched with his power level and account age, which is all very understandable, right? And she chose the right troop type for that. To be really honest with you, at this moment, infantry is in a better place than it was ever before, ever since the release of Pincer, as well as release of Baichu. So, very good choice made from there. If someone was if someone came to me and said that I want to actually start maining cavalry and cavalry only, and then I want to potentially bring out 3 marches on the field, I'll probably not recommend that at this point, like right now. And long-term goal, he wants to be the garrison lead for his group of friends, which is all good. I got you. I'll provide my best suggestions for the best set for garrison leader, especially for if it's just not representing the kingdom, but then again, group of your friends, I got you. Only as infantry commanders mess, and want to not invest gold has in non-infantry except for Philip, which is good. Got use 2 marches on the open field and then can do 3 if needed. Got Zenith, spends $100 per month, has 95 gold heads right now, has 5512 Hera, which is good because he does need Hera. Hera is basically like uh Philip for Garrison at this point. Although yeah, I think he is still better than Tokugawa unless you have crazy pincer, to be honest. So having Hera built up is good. Has Baichi, has Gorgo, has William Wallace, Scipio Emilianus, Ragnar Prime Luce, and Nizongen Max. So those are expertise except for Hera. And has Guan Yu as well at 5542, which is kind of a pain. I think Guan Yu's best place is like 5155 or 5515 or something like that. So that is a bummer, but it is what it is. I know that it's very difficult for you to actually put Guan Yu's skill in the right places because he's very difficult to do that. Scipio Prime at 5552 and 5511. Whoa, I wonder why he built the whoa though, because he didn't want to invest in gold head. He didn't want to invest gold heads into any other commanders. But it's nice to know that he does have a whoa at the end of the day. This just shows that he has 95 gold heads as well as skill set for Hera. He does have a lot of infantry troops. 1.8, almost 1.9 million infantry. I'm assuming that he actually trained everything into T4 and then he actually powered them up to T5 to win the Zenith Power, which is very smart way of you doing it. And let's just take a look at what he has right now. Very strong set in terms of equipment, by the way. His first set that he has on Baichi right now. And he has the infantry set helmet and KVK weapon, which I have no problem with that because we can just craft the KVK helmet to basically build the meta garrison set, to be really honest with you. Hope Cloak is fine. The non-set boost pants and shoes for infantry are all made, which is good. Ringing horn, very very nice. Pincer though, he can get a little bit work done on his pincer formation, and if he needs to, potentially he can get the auto testimony like shards. He can collect those on his next couple KVKs, unless your kingdom does choose to actually give you those auto testimony, and then you'll be able to potentially get get the get the toppler, which is the scrolls inscription first slots special inscription, so that you can get unlock full potential of pincer as they mostly reside on the special inscriptions. But very very good set, very powerful, and it does have little bit of ways for you to actually micro optimize. But then again, this set right now is very very strong. Using Baichu Luce on this is going to be amazing, or using William Walls with Baichu is going to be amazing. He does have another pincer on Gorgo, which I was wondering why that's the case. He has a lot of armaments. The inscriptions, but then again, not so much of stats rolled into the right places. He has about what's this called? So 9.6, so 18.6%. With well clad probably providing you 3.5% defense, armored providing you 3.5% defense. I don't recall what those are. I think this is like 10% chance to take less skill damage or something like that. And enduring could be like the damage taken less, but very, very strong inscriptions. But then again, not so much on the stats themselves. Having 3.2% march speed is nice. Potentially, you can look into transmuting those out of the cavalry and siege stats that you actually have, and then you can build a stronger infantry set potentially in the future. Now, his second infantry set looks pretty good. He has about 20% stats from the wedge formation, which is good. 3.2% march speed for infantry is nice. He does have hardy, which is I think the one that gives you 3.5% health. He does have a rare inscription, which is good. I think enrage is the one that gives you extra skill damage buff, which is nice. And Ragnar Primate built out is really really powerful. I think he's the best infantry skill damage commander at the end of the day. He does have that power level of recently released skill damage commander. And he does have infantry set, helmet, weapon, and then Hook Cloak, Eternal Night, dagger. I'm assuming he's crafted a long time ago, and then the uh the epic gloves and shoes, and then the epic infantry's march speed set for this one. So I'm assuming he's running one pincer set, smite pincer, whatever you like to call it, and then one wedge slash skill damage set, which is really really good. And he does have a third work in progress equipment on his Guan Yu, I'm assuming. Guan Yu's good to have like those work in progress equipments kind of hang out, because I think the pure purpose of Guan Yu nowadays is just to put AoE silence on your enemies, and having your like I have like blue gears on Guan Yu right now, and he does his job, which is basically AoE silencing the enemy. I don't even bring out T5 troops on my Guan Yu. I just bring out T4 troops on the field for 5 march field fight, and then he does his job and he dies. And I'm assuming he's using him the same way. And like, to be fair, I'm investing all my other resources into that one best cavalry set, because I'm a garrison or rally lead for my cavalry, for my kingdom. But then again, Guan Yu, the best job that he's gonna do is basically AoE silence, and that's basically it. but a very good kind of usage of Guan Yu, I would say, that he has in mind, I think is basically what we're seeing here. In terms of optimization, there's not really much optimization that you really need to do right now. I think whatever you have is good, but then again, let's just talk about in which order that you can actually build the best set for your one garrison set that you can potentially have, and then kind of like work around whatever you have to make sure that you're actually working on basically having everything legendary and having everything kind of meta relevant level of power for equipments. I'm actually not going to read this out loud. This is for your reference, Myzz. So if you want to go ahead and read it, you can. But then, yeah, I'm going to actually go over it from here. So this basically is what I think what you can potentially bring to the field, like the best possible gear that you can possibly bring on the field, right? And what I did suggest was, even though you're looking to make the best set for the first set, I think you should actually start optimizing the 2 marches that you have as much as possible if you're looking to improve your KP. Because if you're running just 1 march, there's only so much that you can do with that 1 march on the field, to be really honest with you. Like, it yeah, you already have half of your second field kind of like set built. So I think it is best that you actually work on finishing your second set. And hence, I'm actually suggesting you build the most powerful equipment piece that you can possibly bring for your second set, which is the horn, and then build the 2 set infantry set bonus, 2 infantry set gloves and boots so that you can benefit from the set bonus from the infantry, and then your build your hope cloak for the third march. Actually, the reason for that is because right now your third march is actually missing the chest piece, right? If you think that you're going to actually be able to use your third march eventually, I think building a hope cloak would actually really help your third march basically perform on the field without basically instant melting. So that's why I'm suggesting that you actually build your hope cloak third on for your third march. And then I think building a drum for your second march would actually benefit all 3 marches, and then you can actually start working on micro optimizing your first set. And I think when you actually build your KVK helmet, you'll be able to actually make your third march inherit the set piece helmet that you have on your first march. So you don't have to worry about your third march having that gathering set that you actually have right now. Now, and then what I suggest is that you build the number 6 right here, the infantry set, non-set glove, because when you build your leadership set boots and pants for your first set, you can actually inherit whatever the first set was using on your third set, because this is actually technically the best infantry equipment piece that you can possibly give to your first infantry set because of the health that those 2 sets provide. And then once you have the infantry KVK helmet and those 2 pieces replaced to whatever I'm suggesting you right now, this right here is the most powerful infantry set you can possibly have in the game right now. And at that point, you can start garrisoning for your friends, even if you're still working on the refinement as well as iconics, in my opinion. And once that is all done, you can actually still craft. You can then craft the infantry set weapon for your third set, right now is running the blue shield. Blue shield is amazing, I know, but then again, eventually it is still technically better for you to actually use the infantry set weapon. And then if you still have materials left, eventually you can actually optionally build second drum and second horn. Horn first and then drum is what I recommend. But if you want to just maximize the power level of your first march, you can still build your horn first, the drum first before horn. It's really up to you. And if you want to dismantle your dagger, I think dagger is the one accessory that you can potentially dismantle if you need it. I wouldn't dismantle it until you actually get to this point right here where you're actually building your third march as accessories. But even if you don't want to dismantle your dagger, I think you can eventually use it on other marches, even something like siege march, for example, right? Because that debuff, and it just costs you too much in terms of materials for you to actually dismantle an accessory at the end of the day, right? And in terms of armor, first thing first, pincer for number one infantry is going to be your top priority, and prioritize making it perfect. Just remember, pincer is not better than arch unless you have special inscriptions. Pincer is as good as arch if you don't have any special inscriptions on them. So if you want to build pincer and if you want to build the best infantry set for you to garrison even amongst your friends, you'll need to make the perfect pincer set with special inscriptions on at least the scroll and instrument, which is the first two on the top left and right. And that way you don't miss out on the powerful special inscription that the pincer set basically has. Those two special inscriptions, by the way, is as strong as an auxiliary skill, which is basically like as strong as any skill that a commander has. So having those two special inscriptions is like having two very, very powerful passive skills taken from some other powerful commanders in Rising Kingdom. So very, very powerful. If you have those special inscriptions, not so much good for pincer if you don't have those. So just remember to get those. And then I actually recommend that you build a second pincer set for your infantry number two, or smite number two, basically in March. And this is what I recommend your first. There's two ways that I actually recommend how you can actually run those infantry commanders for your next project. And it would really depend on which commander that you want to invest in, whether you want to invest in Philip or CJ. If you want to invest in Philip, you will not be able to actually get the maximum power of pincer really applied for your third march with Liu Che and Philip. And also at the same time, you wouldn't get to actually use Liu Che along with Bai Chi. That will mean you have to use William Wallace next to Bai Chi, which is a lot weaker than I think Bai Chi with Liu Che. But you also get the benefit of having Philip in your lineup. And because Philip is so versatile, there is a very little chance that you will be wrong with your investment with Philip. But then again, if you actually build CJ Chok Jin Young, which is a very old commander, by the way, but there is a potential for you to get the museum buff. And you actually get to run Bai Chi and Liu Che, which is, I think, the single most powerful infantry commander pairing that you can bring out in the game. And then you can basically run whatever you're running for Wedge for the second set. But then again, for the third march, you can still run William Wallace and CJ, which is a single target damage slash AoE. It does have a little bit of AoE stuff, along with AoE commander that does a lot of damage. So it really depends on what you prefer, which commander that you want to actually invest in. And for this one, The third, if you're actually running Luce with Philip, I think Spin Pincer or Arch are still the best for the third one. But then again, if you don't have those, if you only have good stats on Wedge and you don't have inscriptions on any of them, you can technically run this with Wedge because, Philip does have that skill damage, direct damage factor when he auto attacks. It, uh, so this one is more versatile on the left. This one is more powerful, but then again, if CJ goes out of meta, then you would kind of regret investing in this potentially. Right? That's basically what I'm suggesting. So two options for 3 March. Build Philip and run Baichu William Wallace, Ragnar Prime, Scipio Prime, and can technically run Guan Yu with Ragnar Prime as well for Silence, which is your call. And then Luce Philip, which is good with any armament. So recommended as infantry number 3. And you can invest in CJ as a second option. For the second option, you can invest in CJ and run Baichu Luce, which is the strongest comp that you can possibly run in Rise of Kingdoms right now. And then Ragnar Prime and Scipio Prime. And then William Wallace and CJ to maximize the damage from Baichu Luce, which is the best comp, like I said before. However, CJ investment is not as safe as Philip investment. As I said, CJ is an old commander, but Philip is one commander that you will never regret. Even if down the road, even if you decide to build, let's say, cavalry or archer, like Philip investment, you will not regret. But then again, CJ investment, there is a chance that you might regret this, even after the rework into smite damage, because his damage factor of 1500 is a little too low, in my opinion. I think right now he's shining because of how powerful the pincer formation is. But then again, in the future, when cavalry gets their own pincer formation, and then not Delta, I think there has to be another pincer formation, in my opinion, for cavalry's combo damage commander. Not Delta, but then again, a much stronger one for us to actually balance out the damage. Or let's say uh if uh if Archer gets those, you know, it it is what it is, right? But yeah, CJ as a investment is not as safe as Philip. And when cavalry and archers get on par with infantry eventually, I think there is a chance that CJ might fall off at the end of the day. So that's pretty much it. I know that this was a very long session. I hope you actually enjoyed this, Myzz, and I hope you actually found this helpful. If you did, and if any of you who are watching this video found this information very interesting, or if you want your own version of account featuring or account coaching guideline, feel free to join the Discord and ask me on the channel, and private message me. You can send me all those information. I'm a little bit backed up. I do have a lot more people that I need to go through, but then again, I'll try to get through them as much as possible. But as always, I hope you guys will have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace.